This is Fitnessblender's abs and obliques workout. In this routine, we're going to be doing 2 rounds of 8 different exercises, and we're doing each exercise for 50 seconds. Before you start this routine, we suggest 10 to 15 minutes for warm-up cardio. Let's go ahead and get started with round number 1. Our first exercise is the side hip raise. Let's go ahead and start out by laying on your right side first. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. This motion, you're laying on that right side to start out with, that right elbow directly underneath you, propping your torso up just a little bit. You'll lift those hips up really nice and high, give a tight squeeze from the base of that rib cage and the crest of that hip on that right side of the body, that bottom side of the body. And you also want to make sure that you're keeping a straight line from your torso, your chest, your waist, and your thigh. All needs to be in a nice straight line. You want to make sure that those knees are bent off about a 90-degree angle back behind you. That's going to help you keep your balance just a little bit. Leaning back into those heels. Nice and slow. Main thing to focus on is just lifting those hips. Tight squeeze every single time, kind of shoving that shoulder down towards those hips and letting it relax back down. Almost done. Just a few more seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, we're going to switch sides. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. This time on that left side, propping your body up with that left elbow. Nice and slow. Lift those hips up as high as you can, crunching that left shoulder down towards that left hip. Get a nice tight squeeze from the base of that rib cage to the crest of that hip. You're also going to feel it to the outside of that thigh. Just mainly focus on trying to get those hips as high as you possibly can every single time, drawing that shoulder down underneath you. Now remember, you want to try to keep that body in a nice straight line the entire time, along with those thighs. So that torso into those thighs should be a nice straight line from shoulder down to knee. Don't let those hips kick back behind you or in front of you. And then nice and slow, just let all that motion is just going straight up and down. We're almost done, just about 10 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the W leg raises. You're laying flat on your back for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Those legs are going to start directly above those hips. Drop them straight down with those feet together. Then just a few inches off the ground, you're going to bring those legs out nice and wide. Then slowly start bringing them straight back up. So you want to bring them right back up in line with those hips. And slowly back down, bring those feet back together. Lifting them directly back up above those hips again before you start the motion over. Just make sure that you're alternating every single time you lift those legs. Those feet are going to be either together or apart. Just alternate back and forth between the two. And we're almost done, about 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, let's move on to the next one, the plank knee tucks. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and come up in that full push-up position. You're going to draw that right knee up underneath you, kicking it outside to the left side of your body. Then place that foot back down in that full push-up position. And repeat the motion with that left leg, kicking it out to the right side of your body. Just keep switching back and forth, rotating those hips as much as you can, but trying to keep those shoulders as straight as possible. Almost done, about 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the windmill jackknife crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Those arms will be out to the sides, coming straight up over top of your head, then back down to those hips. At the same time, you're going to be extending those legs out just a few inches off the ground, then tucking those knees up to that stomach and that chest, getting a little bit of a crunch at the top, then extending everything right back out. Every single time you extend those legs, you should have those abdominal muscles engaged, trying to press that lower back flat against that mat. And every time you hug those knees into your chest, bring those arms down to your sides, you want to get a nice tight squeeze and a little tiny bit of a crunch. You should feel this to the top of those thighs, the front of that hip, and those abdominal muscles especially. You should also feel a little bit into the front of that shoulder. Almost done, 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, moving on to the next one. This is the crab kicks. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Placing those hands back behind you. Bring those hips up nice and high. Trying to keep a nice straight line from your knee to your shoulder. And then alternate back and forth with your left and right leg. Taking one off the ground, kicking it nice and high above that hip. And then dropping it back down, alternating it over to the other leg. And then just repeating that motion back and forth. You should really be feeling this in your butt primarily. That lower back and those hamstrings. Then again, a little bit into those shoulders for stabilization. Almost done, 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the toe touch crunches. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those legs directly above those hips, nice and slow. Extend up towards those toes like you're trying to touch those toes. Get a nice tight crunch every single time you do. When you come back down, try to keep those abs constantly tight. Don't let them completely relax. And then press it right back out. It's a nice, easy motion, but it makes it really difficult because those hamstrings are trying to work against you. And we're almost done, 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the oblique crunches. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Laying flat on your back with your knees propped up about a 90-degree angle. You're going to bring that left leg over top of that right, so that left ankle is right on top of that right knee. And then you're going to crunch up with your right elbow across to that left knee. Just get a nice tight squeeze going to the left as hard as you can, as tight of a crunch every single time as possible. Just make sure you keep repeating the same side over and over again. We're going to switch sides here in just a bit. And we're almost done, about 5 seconds left on this side. And let it relax. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And this time that right ankle is going to be up on top of that left knee. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember this time, we're going to be opposite with those legs. That left elbow this time is coming up to that right knee, trying to get a nice tight squeeze every single time. Rotating those shoulders as far as possible, trying to get both those shoulders up off the ground every single time. Get a nice tight crunch. Almost done, 5 seconds left. and let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the plank. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Drop out in that full plank position. If you can't quite hold this the entire time, you can always drop onto those knees. The main thing you want to focus on is trying to keep those abs really nice and tight. Keep those hips up. Make sure you don't stick them up too high. You want to keep a straight line from your shoulder all the way down to your ankle. And one thing to help protect your back is to kind of get a little bit of a crunch, kind of roll those hips in towards you just a little bit, so you're actually kind of tilting those hips underneath you. So you're trying to do almost like a little crunch motion. Now you'll be feeling this in your abdominal muscles, your hip flexors, the front of that hip, and the top of that thigh. Also a little bit in those shoulders. This is your last exercise, so try to hold through it as long as you possibly can. Just about 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Alright, that was the end of round number 1. Go ahead and pause it here if you need a little extra break.